So I've been rotating the sheep on the pasture, but with the drought we've had this year, there's just not a lot left. And I've been giving them hay too, but I'm about out.
Okay. Isn't that guy supposed to bring some this week?
Yeah, he was supposed to, but he sold to someone else.
Lovely.
So I think we're just going to have to sell off the lambs that we wanted to keep, and I think we just need to call a couple of the ewes too that didn't do as well this year.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Here at Pasture Pioneers, we aim to show you how much you can do with 2 acres. We raise 75% of our meat on our own land, but part of raising your own meat is processing it yourself or hiring it out. It isn't easy, but it's necessary. It's crazy to think that we're living in history right now. Just like the unprecedented, historic flooding that's taking place in the South, this drought has been absolutely historic for our area. We've never seen the likes of it before. So we've harvested 2 of our cull ewes this week, and culling is when you remove undesirable traits or genetics from your flock. So we really pushed our flock to the max this summer between the small acreage that we have and then the drought on top. We're also having a hard time locating some hay. There's a hay shortage in our area this year. All of these factors mean we really got to thin down, and so it wasn't an easy decision, but it was one that was necessary to make. Something that's not really talked about is how hard it is to harvest your animals, the animals that you raise and grow on your farm. And so we're not going to be harvesting all of them. I think we've harvested what we are going to harvest, and I think we've decided that about 6 of our lambs are going to be going to the auction. And the hope is that they will cover what we get from that, will cover our hay costs.
So this is actually 2 sheep that we butchered, and you know, some of the hard parts of homesteading is, you know, I've handled these sheep every day and out there moving them, and you can tend to get kind of attached to them, but you know, the purpose that they serve for us is meat. You know, some of them we wanted to keep them a little bit longer, but because of the way this year worked out with the drought and everything, we decided that it's just not worth it to continue feeding some of them with the cost of hay. So we just, these were 2 ewes that just didn't really perform like they should have. And you know, we initially had kind of more ewes than we needed on our acreage, but part of that too is that, you know, you have to, with sheep, you tend to have to end up having culling some that don't work out for you anyway. So we kind of intentionally had more than we needed, and it's not like a waste or anything, because you know, we'll end up using them. But there's also a lot of satisfaction that comes from raising your own meat and knowing that the animal had a good life. You know, the way I like to look at it is, you know, the animals live a good life. They just have one bad moment, which, you know, they won't even remember. You know, as I mentioned earlier, so we've got some lambs that we wanted to keep, not necessarily to grow our flock, but just to get them to a bigger size for us to eat or to sell. And you know, we just decided that we're gonna have to move the lambs on now at this point, just because there's the cost that it would take to, it's kind of stunted their growth with the shortage that we've had and this drought. So we decided we're just going to sell lambs that we've got, and that'll help cover our costs for hay this winter. So really, you know, it doesn't end up costing us that much at all to have our own meat. You know, a big benefit to raising your own meat too is that it's a lot cheaper. And there's a lot of benefits with it, and you know, it improves our land as we have them. The animals are improving our land and our pasture. We can, and you know, some people might choose to not butcher their own, but because we have access and the means to it, we do it ourselves, because when we do that, you know, it's just another way that we can control the quality. You know, say if we sent these off to the butcher, you know, we can't really control what happens there. And you know, if you have a lot, you know, it might not be worth it. But for us, it's just you know, it's kind of been a family tradition, where it's something we do in the fall, winter. We butcher our own meat, and there's a lot of satisfaction that comes from that, just knowing. Oh, just trimming some of their hooves. Eventually, I'd like our flock to be at the point where they don't have these problems. But for now, I'm just doing this as a precaution. They tend to not problems later on if I get on top of it. Well, so the plan is with we've just got 2 more ewes in here to get done, and then that'll leave us with 4 ewes and 1 ewe lamb, and I'd say that's about as much as we want to have on here with our acreage.
It's important to us for you guys to see and know just what you can do with limited acreage. Like, self-sufficiency is not some far-fetched, you have to have 50 acres in order to accomplish this. You can accomplish so much with just a few acres. On 2 acres, less than that, we raise all the lamb we can eat, pork and chicken. And we can't have beef here because cows just take so much grass. That's not a feasible thing for us to raise here, but we do trade for our beef. We trade chicken for it, actually, because we can raise lots of chicken here on our land. We trade it for our beef. Something we are hoping to do soon would be expand. We've had some people ask us what our future plans are. Like, are we wanting to stay with just 2 acres, or do we want to expand? And the truth is, we would love to expand. It's something we're praying over. The doors have opened yet. Our dream would be to have more land so that we could have our own, like, beef herd, small, and just enough that it would sustain us. But obviously, whenever something happens, you guys will know.
Okay, so this is what we got from the 2 sheep that we butchered. We already used some, but we had, I think it was 14 packages of burger, and those are a little bit over a pound, so probably between 15 and 20 pounds of burger that we got. And we have our lamb hocks, lamb chops, 2 leg of lamb. No, we had more than 2. We had 4 because we kept 4, all the legs. Then we had lamb shoulder, and here's another leg of lamb. And we had a little bit more that we've already used. So, like, you know, if you're doing your own butchering, you know, you can always default to burger. And we've tried a lot of different cuts on sheep. And, you know, some of the cuts that we prefer the most are leg of lamb. I'll normally do that on the grill, smoke it. And we do our lamb shoulders. Those are pretty good as well, just in a crock pot, and just low and slow for a couple hours. And then our lamb chops, we enjoyed lamb chops too. But we've tried, there's, I think one of the first sheep we did, I did basically all cuts, didn't actually have any burger, just because I didn't want to take it and go get a grinder dirty and stuff. So I just cut all up by hand, and you know, that worked. There's definitely some cuts that we prefer more than others. So this is just kind of what we stuck to, that we like doing, and we decided to do some burger. And we actually tried it in a breakfast casserole the other morning with Greek seasoning, and it was really good. We enjoy lamb. So this is a cage that I made just to take lambs to the auction, and I just made this, made a door in here, and I'll put a latch on there. But just an idea for a simple way to transport them. I've wanted to make something like this for a while, because we've moved some sheep and some pigs, or at least piglets. So you know, I just used some cattle panels that I got, and it took like about 1.5 cattle panels. Just a really affordable way to move them. So originally, when I built this, I was going to make the door. I just wanted to keep it simple, and I was originally going to make it where it would swing open. And then I got to looking, I was like, well, I could actually make it to where it swings on the inside, so it's kind of like a trap door. So, you know, I can put animals in there, and it falls down shut. And while you're loading them up, you don't have to worry about them getting out, escaping. But then once I'm done, I'll just put a snap on it, and they can't get out.
Homesteading isn't all glorious sourdough bread and raw milk butter. There's easy parts and hard parts, and we would be remiss if we didn't show you guys the hard side along with the good. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the subscribe button and the like button. These things help us out as a small channel. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.